Track 39.
Jack and the Beanstalk. A classic tale by an anonymous author, adapted from an old English tale. Once upon a time, there lived a boy and his mom. His name was Jack, and his mother was a widow. They lived in the countryside and had a farm. They were usually surrounded by all kinds of animals and by colorful flowers and trees. They made money by selling their cow's milk at the market every morning. But this winter had been harsh. It had been the coldest winter. It had rained and snowed non-stop. By the end of the summer, there were no crops in the village, and most of the animals on the farm had died. Jack and his mom had only one cow left. The boy and his mom did not have much left to eat. No food on the table, no fruits and vegetables on the land, no animals on the farm, no milk in the cow. They ate once a day, so they were starving. Every night, after wishing Jack a good night, she would sit by the fire and cry.
"What are we going to eat tomorrow? What are we going to eat tomorrow?"
She repeated over and over while she cried. She thought Jack was sleeping, but he could hear her cry every single night. This made Jack very sad, and he started thinking about different ways to help his mother. One day, Jack's mom was really sick. They had no money left and very little food in the pantry. Jack was desperate to help his mother, so he decided to take their cow to the market and sell it. It was the only thing he could think of. He was determined to help. He put on his coat, boots, and woolen hat, and kissed his mom goodbye on the forehead. He went to the barn, took the cow, and started walking into the wind. On his way to the village market, a man approached Jack. The man looked like a beggar.
"Hi there,"
said the man from a distance. He wanted Jack to stop. At first, Jack was scared because he thought the man would want to steal his cow. He could not allow that. He and his mom really needed the money to at least survive the winter. He decided to keep going and started walking faster. The man spoke again.
"Hi there, young lad."
For some strange reason, Jack decided to stop and talk to him.
"Where are you off to?"
asked the man. "I'm going to the market to sell my cow," answered Jack.
"Don't go to the market,"
the man said. "What? I have to sell my cow. We don't have anything to eat, and my mom is very sick. If I don't sell the cow..."
"Sell it to me. I'll buy your cow. Do you know how many beans make 5?
2 in each hand and 1 in your mouth," Jack said. The stranger put his hand in his pocket and took out 5 beans. They looked as strange as the man.
"These are magic beans,"
said the man.
"I'll swap these for the cow.
"What do you mean?"
If you plant the beans today, you'll have a plant up to the sky tomorrow morning."
"Really?"
"Of course. Why would I lie to you? Do it, and if I'm not telling the truth, you shall have your cow back."
Jack believed the man and gave him the cow after taking the beans and putting them in his pocket. He went back home very happy because he had finally been able to help his mother. They had nothing to worry about now. Everything was going to be fine. Back home goes Jack, running. He forgot about his hunger and about his mother's illness. "Guess what, Mother?" shouted Jack from the door.
"Well, I shall guess.
The mother said.
You don't have the cow, so you were able to sell it."
And she smiled, thinking he was bringing home some money, thinking they could finally buy a chicken and make chicken soup. I didn't sell it. I swapped it for these 5 beans. He put his hand in his pocket and showed his mother the beans. They are magical.
What? Beans? 5 beans? Magical?
She had to sit down for she was about to faint. A few seconds later, she stood up. She was furious.
Give me those beans. Out the window they go.
She said and threw the beans out the window.
Off to bed you go.
The next morning, Jack opened his eyes to a weird sight. The sun was shining onto the wall, but the rest of the room was dark and shady. Jack stood up, rubbed his eyes, and went to the window. He could not believe his eyes, so he rubbed them again. The beans his mother had thrown out the window the night before had grown into a big beanstalk. It went up and up and up into the sky. So, the man was right, Jack thought. Jack was mesmerized and happy. He decided he would climb up the beanstalk. The leaves would be like the steps on a ladder. He climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed till he reached the sky. He looked around and saw a castle. It was the only thing in sight. He was in awe, and he was still hungry, so he started walking toward the castle. At the door was a big, tall woman.
Would you like some breakfast?
She asked.
Move quickly inside if you don't want to become my husband's breakfast yourself.
And she laughed really loudly.
Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Already in the castle, Jack sat down to rest a little bit. The woman was in the kitchen preparing something to eat. She offered Jack bread and some milk. As Jack was finishing up his breakfast, the ground started shaking. They also heard some loud thumps in the distance.
Quick, hide,
said the woman.
It's my husband, the ogre, and he will want to eat you if he sees you are here.
Jack was so scared he could not move. What? He thought. An ogre? He wants to eat me? So she pushed him behind a long curtain.
Don't move or make any noise,
warned the woman. But the curtain had a tiny hole, and Jack could see the husband. The ogre was huge and looked fearsome. He carried a hen.
Here, wife, broil me this hen for breakfast,
said the giant.
Ah, what is that smell? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell a boy in the room.
Nonsense, dear. Perhaps you can still smell that little boy you had for dinner just yesterday,
answered the wife, walking towards the curtain. And then she whispered to Jack,
Don't come out yet. Wait till he's asleep. He always takes a nap after breakfast.
The ogre finished his breakfast and took a bag of gold coins from a big chest in the room. After carefully counting the coins, he dozed off into a dream. Jack came out, tiptoed to the bag of coins, took it, and started running. Unfortunately, the ogre woke up.
Woman, what is happening? Where is my bag of gold? Who is that boy?
Jack ran as fast as he could. When he got to the beanstalk, he dropped the bag of gold. It fell into his mother's garden. By the time the ogre came out of the house, Jack was already climbing down the beanstalk. But the ogre followed him quickly with big strides. Jack could not see the ogre yet, but he could feel the beanstalk shake every time the ogre took a step, even from the distance. Thump, thump, thump. So he climbed down and climbed down and climbed down and climbed down. When he could finally see the ogre climbing down the beanstalk, he was already halfway down. "Mother! Mother! Bring me an axe! An axe! Quick!" he shouted to his mother. The ogre was approaching Jack dangerously. Jack tried to go faster, but he was tired, and his hands were a little sweaty from the fear. His mother came out of the house with an axe a few seconds before Jack put his feet on the ground. She gave him the axe, grabbed the bag of gold, and ran inside the house. The boy took the axe firmly with both hands and hit the beanstalk repeatedly. The stalk was thick and hard, and Jack started fearing for his life and his mother's. He looked up after every stroke. The ogre was closer every time. He could finally cut the beanstalk in half. The ogre felt the beanstalk shake and topple over. He fell together with the stalk. Jack went inside and told his mother to stop hiding. They sat down to count the gold. At least they would be able to survive the rest of the winter. And some more winters too.